to 150.
Yes, Farkas having a good day, broke the Hungarian junior record in the snatch with a lift of 128 kilos.
Yes, he's the youngest man in the field at 20. Finished 7th in this year's European Championships. Currently ranked 12th before the Worlds.
Good, upright, clean. And unfortunately left the hips behind the bar.
He's lifted 152.5, so he should be able to do this. He's got one more chance though. Tang, the Chinese lifter, who was involved in quite a lot of confusion at the beginning of the snatch and actually ended up losing one attempt for getting onto the stage at the last moment, and arguably in the eyes of the jury just a little bit too late. It's Melyakov, quick picture of him, Vladimir Melyakov, the Russian. But, Farkas now with a minute in which to come in and try for the last time.
So the Hungarian's final attempt with 150 kilos. Chalking the hands. Really needs to concentrate on the second phase of the lift. Okay, just getting the feet in the right place, setting himself up, using the hook grip, wrapping the fingers over the thumb, and again a very upright clean. And this time, well, a better position, but just couldn't quite get his body underneath the bar. But he seems happy.
Happy enough, I think, David, because he did lift 145, so he has actually got a total which will give him a complete ranking.
Okay, now looking at this jerk, dips, and again leaves the back leg behind and can't.
Now, the world record holder. His first appearance, Attila Czanka. And you've seen lift a few times. He set that world record at the beginning of August in the annual edition of the Hughes Cup. 146 kilos. Well, he's got a little way to go before he gets there now.
And Attila Czanka is the world record holder, but I've seen him in many competitions over the years, and he hasn't been the most consistent of performers.
Things tend to need to go here. Very, very good lift that the Japanese man has just put in there. He'll be well pleased, and that will have boosted his confidence. Now here's a man who needs to do just that. 140 kilos for the second time. And if he wants to get near his world record again, he's going to have to lift this to give himself a chance on the third lift.
That's more like it. And having seen that, I can see how he managed to break the world record on 146. Watch again, the hips come towards the bar, catches it in a perfect position.
Now, Czanka, this his third and final lift. Remember, he's got 140, so this is a big lift for him.
Yes, can't win the gold now because Suleymanoglu is lighter, obviously going for the silver, which he doesn't get. So that Czanka left with 140.
So twice the technique has failed the world record holder, and as a result his cause set back. Well, here's a man with quite a lot to do. Attila Czanka, the now former world record holder in the snatch, only 140 kilos, which left him in 5th place. This now a big lift for him. And that looked pretty smooth. 167.5, his opening lift.
Czanka taking a very wide grip on the clean, unusual technician. And then if you look at the arms, although they're locked out, Wayne, he will have had the 3 referees in and would have pointed out that his arms don't lock completely, and this will be taken into consideration.
1 or 2 people fancy that he could do quite well here. Czanka, tall man, quite a contrast. There's Suleymanoglu, who we've yet to see in the clean and jerks, only 1.56 m, and this man sort of towers over him if you put him side by side. Just underlining that different physique doesn't mean that one man is necessarily stronger than another, but Czanka, good clean. Now, that right arm isn't locked out, or is it?
That's a good lift. Czanka has an unusual arm lock. As I said earlier, we'll have pointed that out to the referees.
Now, the right arm really doesn't look as if it's locked out. But as you say, the judge is wise to his natural position. But he's got 100.
Needs to hit exactly the right position and stand straight away.
So now Czanka, 3rd and final attempt at the clean and jerk. He's got 172.5. But Czanka without a medal in the snatch, so he's looking for some kilos here, particularly over Miyagi, the Japanese, who beat him in the snatch. Oh, it's not to be, and it's not his day either.
And just watching on the replay, a very strong clean. But that right arm,
Bahiro, and now they've got not 1 but 2. Halil Mutlu on the opening night in that 50 kilo category, and now the man. And here's the man who takes the silver medal, and it's worth applauding his effort, as the crowd are, because David, 146.5 kilos to be a world record and end up with a silver medal. It's a bit hard, isn't it?
it is hard, but he took on a man like Suleymanoglu, is not easy to beat, but each year he seems to get closer and closer, so perhaps next year will be Leonardus' year.
And now the bronze medalist for Bulgaria, Ilian Iliev. Iliev, also relatively young, 21 years of age, getting the bronze medal with a lift of 142.5 kilos. And those pictures will be in the morning papers. In fact, there won't be too many words, there'll be just a lot of pictures, I think, in the Turkish papers, with one name in big letters right across the top. Well, they'll be very happy to sing their own national anthem twice more, which is what will happen. Seems quite a long procedure. Perhaps it might be more economical to just give the anthem to the overall title winner. But traditions are not easily changed. As he hops onto the top of the platform, the greatest lifter you've ever seen, David?
For consistency and kilo for kilo, definitely the greatest lifter.
Once again, worth recording that in winning the silver medal, he did initially break by half a kilo the old world record. Held it for not much more than a couple of minutes, but nonetheless, that is an achievement. Leonidis in the European Championships earlier this year lifted 177.5 kilos, so 3 kilos improvement, and not too far away from a massive 8 kilos improvement. So maybe Suleymanoglu's got to be concerned about Leonidis if he keeps finding this little bit extra. Certainly not going to allow him to slacken off. And the third man getting the bronze medal, Czanka Attila for Armenia, their first medal of these World Championships. Just one more medal ceremony to complete the evening, that for the overall title. So the man who takes the overall title, remember 182.5 kilos to go with the 147.5 lifted in the snatch to give a new world record total of 330 kilos, 5 kilos better than the previous record set by Naim. And that is a very decent lift up on the old record. 5 kilos is a good margin to raise the level. Well, press orchestrating their own photographs there. With the family. And for a second bronze medal, Attila Czanka, former world record holder in the snatch, takes the bronze medal for the overall competition. The job is done. He very much wanted to do this in front of his own home Turkish fans. 3 gold medals to Naim Suleymanoglu. The legend continues. This is how the man completed his evening's work. From David Morgan and myself, David Goldstrom, thanks. 5 kilos in the snatch. That's the world record held by Israel Militosian of Armenia, who we thought might have been lifting tonight, but the Armenian plans have changed and they're now represented by Aik Egiazarian, who was 4th in the recent European Championships. The record for the clean and jerk and the total, both held by Yoto Yotov. Well, now the Hungarian. This is Attila Feri, just 26, 69.5 kilos. He weighed in just 2 hours ago. Feri, who formerly represented Romania, now lifts for Hungary. And go back a couple of years to the Olympics of '92, he finished 9th in the ranking.
So a very confident start there for Attila. Long pull. Very strong bottom position.
So the first 2 but Yotov very much the man to beat tonight. Here's though the Hungarian Attila Feri. $150, still on the bar. Quite interesting this, David, because if you do go back 2 years to the Olympic Games in the snatch, then he was lifting 130, so...
Yes, he's really come on.
Hasn't yet got his 150, but he's got one more chance.
Yes, just looking at this, he really doesn't get enough height on the bar. Doesn't really manage to lock out that right arm.
So Azerian settles for, or has to settle for 145, as Feri tries 150. Take the early lead in the snatch competition and equal the weight already lifted by Yotov, but he's fractionally lighter. But unfortunately, not able to achieve that third lift, and so 145 is his total for the snatch. He was rather saved for Istanbul. He hasn't been involved in too many competitions, and in his time a world champion and 5 times a European champion. Stage at exactly the same weight comes Attila Feri of Hungary, lifted 145 in the snatch. In fact, ended up in 7th place.
And it looks good, and it is good.
So Feri gets his first total.
Elbows nice and high on the clean. The bar looked to be a slight...
I wish they'd not do that. Now here comes the Hungarian, Attila Feri. Attila Feri coming in for 190. His body weight 69.50, Gula 69.52. So this is for the lead in the clean and jerk as well.
And I think the elbows touch the knees on the clean, so I'm not sure, but it's 3 white lights and the lead.
So Feri, who you suggested, I think David, was looking more like a man who'd succeed at this rather than the snatch. So far, so good. Now here is Fedayel Gula. The extra half kilo has been re-added after his teammate tried 192.5. Sorry, I should say Attila Feri going for 193. This is his first attempt to set the new world record, and it's also his last lift.
But interesting to note, he's still leading at the moment by virtue of body weight.
Oh, what a pity, he was really close there.
So now he's just got to sit and wait and see if Fedayel Gula...
Now the first phase was really executed without too many problems. Nice drive up and gets the bar there.
But nevertheless, a world record on the snatch. Overall gold medal.
So we're back live for the medal ceremonies in Istanbul. A small field for the final, David, but a very competitive one.
That's right, but you've got to remember that there was also a B and a C group, so the 70 kilo class, 11 stone, a very popular weight and a very competitive weight.
Well, you probably could hear the hall announcer there reading out the facts and figures. Feri Attila, the champion of the world in the 160 kilo snatch. New world record, a gold medal. And the Turkish weightlifting success story continues. Silver medalist in the snatch. 155 kilos. Angel Genchev. And the man who gets the bronze medal, also from Turkey, Ergun Batmaz. And the difference between him and Genchev in the silver and the bronze, 0.14 of a kilo. And the man making the presentations, British weightlifting president, Wally Holland, European president of the Weightlifting Federation. Now the second ceremony and presentations for the clean and jerk. This time, no world record. The 192.5 kilos set by Yoto Yotov stays intact. But who would have said that Yoto Yotov would not have been involved in any of these presentations at the beginning of the evening?
Well, my brother's probably sitting at home now, glad that nobody would take his bet.
Well, I think we're all a bit surprised not to see Yotov there, but equally delighted for this man, Attila Feri of Hungary, 190 kilos, taking the clean and jerk on his second lift, and others, including himself, trying to set a new world record at 193 kilos, but it was not to be. And Feri Attila, on this particular occasion, having to settle, but not unhappily, for a silver medal. And Armenia's Egozarian taking the bronze medal. In fact, my apologies, Yoto Yotov. So no gold medals for Yotov, which in his terms are really consolation prizes. Now one more set of medals to be awarded, and those for the overall title. With a total of 350 kilos, 5 kilos better than Yomo Yotov's former world record. So Yotov gets a silver in the overall title race. Worth noting that Yotov actually equaled his own world record kiloage of 345, but that 5 kilos difference in the snatch, all important. 160 kilos lifted by Feri Attila in the snatch, 155 to Yotov. And Genchev, the man with the bronze medal. It's entirely possible that she may do better in the clean and jerk. So now for Hungary. This is Erzsébet, Márkus, again one of the more experienced lifters. Oh, no problem. Very nice lift indeed for the European silver medalist. And she's well capable of 90 kilos.
Yes, looking at the slow motion, a very long pull, not really having any problems with that. And again, from the overhead, hips coming towards the bar nicely, very good positioning overhead.
Well, this young woman, in fact, took the European Championship gold in the snatch. She had to give 2.5 kilos. Got the third one there, and that's why she's got a little bit of a smile there. Current position comes Márkus for Hungary. Very, very good first lift of 85 kilos. Looking really positive about this.
That's right, adopting the Chinese shout before the attempt there. Really good looking lift, that. Yes, very good technician, No problems during any part of that attempt. Good hip drive, long pull, looking very strong overhead.
And I think pretty certain to medal. The question is of what colour. But very impressive. Lifted 90 kilos in the snatch in the European Championships in Rome when she took 2 bronze. And there you can see the all-important body weights. And Maria Takács, who's come in late, you see 72.9 kilos, one of the lighter lifters. But if you look at the young Turk, Dinel, the edge, but she's only 16. It's all about experience for her, really. And I'd be looking for Takács to take the advantage of the lighter body weight rather than the young Turkish lifter. For one or two others, in particular to Hungary's Maria Takács, the European champion. The world records, pretty tough ones for these women to break. It'll be interesting to see whether anyone will get near enough to have an attempt at them. But the primary objective for all of them to win the medals and achieve the work that they prepared for long and hard over the last 9 months. Something like 5 days a week and 5 hours a day for the women in the gym, as it is for the men.
I think the name's going to change again.
Well, a lot of tactical discussions going on, and now at 92.5 kilos we see Maria Takács for the first time. Well, here is the lady who came in late, but what a late entry she is, the European champion. At 92.5 kilos, the weight she lifted in Rome.
And that's something you don't see very often. She split under the bar instead of squatting. Most lifters now use the squat technique, because if you look as she splits, she only actually goes.
Lifters need.
You have to find somebody to translate with those people.
So 92.5.
Yes, and she's got a very smooth technique of threatening the 105 kilo world record.
Now another chance for us to look at this different, very different technique. Maria Takács of Hungary.
Oh, she's very competent at it.
So 95 for her. That just about equals her, well, it does in fact equal her best for the single. Just limits the options. She's only got one more lift.
Movement. The lift really isn't over until the down signal is given.
Now, Albina Komic, third and final lift, 97.5. This could be worth a medal. Not sure which colour, but another smooth lift. Just takes a fraction longer. She's very well organised on the rest. Now Maria Takács. Now where does she go from here? 97.5, so here comes the body weight into play. Takács, who's much the lighter of those in contention for gold. This to take the lead away from Komic. Very, very wide spread here.
Oh. Well, it was a good attempt, but the split technique much harder to balance in a split than a squat.
5'2" her body weight, and it looks to us as if so technically Ogbifio, although she's lifted 115, is behind Comet, so she's got to get over that weight. And here's Maria Takács, the woman with the unusual style for snatching.
Yes, I wonder if she'll be splitting or squatting.
117.5 kilos her opening weight.
Also unusual, she's split. She's wearing training shoes as opposed to weightlifting boots. Doesn't seem to have much problem with that.
It's quite important. She's considerably lighter than Ogbifio, so she has the edge if it comes to a fight out between those two. She's now, of course, grasped that 120 kilos, but it's left it for Maria to try that weight. The World Championships last year, won by Yu Hua of China. The winning weight there in the clean and jerk was 125. I wouldn't expect, although it's not entirely impossible for her to go for that weight, but it wouldn't mean anything in terms of records.
Yes, I don't think these women are
disappointed to have missed out on her third lift in the snatch and end up with a silver medal. I think she would have hoped to have got all three, but it's not to be. So she has a chance here to take the clean and jerk as well as the overall title, and she's got